If you want to know more about the mystery behind this new character, Madison, and if you want to know how you're going to get $5 in your account for free, then stick around to the end of this video. This video is sponsored by privacy.com. Personalized cards for each, set limits monthly, are one-time use to make sure that you're safe. Say that you're hacked, you'll get notified about the hack. Zombieland Double Tap begins exactly where the original Zombieland began, Washington, D.C., where we're introduced to what has changed in Zombieland over the last 10 years. There are now different evolutions of zombies known as the Homer, the Hawking, the Ninja, and later the T-800. The characters are living in the White House, where there's a giant mural of Obama. He would have been in office at the time that the zombie apocalypse started, meaning he had this mural of himself. Seems like a callback to Bill Murray having artwork of himself in the first one.
Hey Google, what's Obama's last name?
Barack Obama's full name is Barack Hussein Obama II.
The second?
There are some other references to the original Zombieland nested in the White House sequence, like when Tallahassee is teaching Little Rock to shoot a basketball in the basketball arcade machine. In the first one, there's a moment of him teaching her how to shoot a gun.
Hint, why don't you exhale slowly and squeeze the trigger.
When Wichita expresses her concerns about Little Rock possibly leaving, Columbus brushes her hair behind her ear, something that he had long fantasized about in the first one.
I had always, my whole life, wanted to brush a girl's hair over her ear.
Tallahassee also has a Twinkie ornament on the front of his car, a reminder about his constant search for Twinkies over the course of the original. There's also a decorative Twinkie mascot stowed in the garage. And he continues the tradition of giving all of his cars the number 3. By the way, in the previous video, I pointed out how 3 was the number of his favorite race car driver, Dale Earnhardt, and some of you commented that it was also the age at which he lost his son. Could be a double meaning there. He also has a pair of 3s on his belt buckle in this new movie. Double Tap takes place 10 years later, so all existing Twinkies are expired now.
Believe it or not, Twinkies have an expiration date.
But he does have a new target item after the girls make off with and destroy his vehicle, the Beast. His new goal is to get another car that he likes, and like the Twinkie hunt of the first movie, he endures a string of disappointments before getting his reward in the end. After his girlfriend leaves him, Columbus meets Madison.
Madison.
I doubt it was intentional that she's the living epitome of the stereotypical blonde jokes that were popular in 2009, but you can choose to see it that way if you want. It's also unclear if her name is Madison or if she's from Madison, Wisconsin, but I'm guessing she wasn't smart enough to get the whole clue about the code names, so her name might just be Madison. They get back to the White House and drink Mountain Dew Code Red out of the presidential cups. Not the hockey ones, actual presidential cups. Code Red is the beverage that Columbus is addicted to in his virgin days as a World of Warcraft nerd, pre-Zombieland, and I already discussed how it represents a state of emergency in my episode on the first movie. Zombie Kill of the Week from the first movie also makes a return, this time in the form of Zombie Kill of the Year. One of the candidates for Zombie Kill of the Year is this guy knocking over the Leaning Tower of Pisa to kill some zombies. I kind of wonder if this is a small connection to this line from the first movie.
Friday night, third straight week indoors, World of Warcraft, Leaning Tower of Pizza Boxes.
After Wichita returns to the White House, explaining that her sister ran off with some guy, the 4 of them set out to find Little Rock at Elvis's home, Graceland. But soon after find it destroyed and end up at the Hound Dog Hotel, where they spot Tallahassee's old car, and Wichita makes a strange mistake that you may not have noticed the first time through. When I purchase stuff online, I'm always worried about who I'm actually giving my credit card information out to. I mean, how can these people anonymously collecting your info online really be trusted? That's why I think everyone should have an account on privacy.com. Here's how it works. You sign up for a free account. Actually, they give you $5 just to make your account if you use my link in the description. Then you can set up burner cards and merchant cards. So for example, I pay $19.95 per month for my movie theater subscription, so I'll just make a virtual card with a $19.95 per month spending limit, and I know that they're never going to overcharge me or double tap my bank account. There's so many ways that you can use this to your advantage. You know how there's all these deals online where you can supposedly get a free trial of something, but they still collect your payment info so they can charge you the second that the trial ends? Well, with privacy.com, you can just give them a burner card with no money on it, so you can safely and confidently use any free trial, actually for free. And by the way, it's a 100% free service to use, so there's literally no reason not to have it. Just go to the link in the description, that's privacy.com/CZsWorld, to sign up and get $5 for free. Why would you not do this? Privacy.com/CZsWorld. They all split off into different sections of the hotel to look for Little Rock. When Wichita is alone, she calls out the name Little Rock rather than using her sister's actual name. So do these two just call each other by their code names even in private now? Or maybe it was just a case of old habits die hard because she's been using the code name for 10 years now when around Columbus and Tallahassee. Meanwhile, Little Rock isn't even there. Her and her new boyfriend Berkeley are on their way to the pacifist community, Babylon. Berkeley comments that Babylon must stand for that cool David Gray song. Personally, I was gonna go with the Scars on Broadway song, but I guess David Gray works fine. One other detail that I loved was when they show up to Babylon and turn in their guns, and there's that one hippie who's holding it as if it's contaminated or something. The community seems to be reinforced by a stack of railroad storage containers on all sides, and a van with sliding doors that serves as the entrance and exit. As they come through, I noticed that the words roller coaster are graffitied on the van. In the first one, the theme park Pacific Playland is supposedly the safe haven, and then in this one, Babylon is supposedly a safe haven until the end of both movies when they aren't.
You'll be the first to die, but I like your enthusiasm.
Back at the hotel, Tallahassee and Columbus meet their doppelgangers. I wish they would have gotten Michael Cera to play the Jesse Eisenberg double, since they were both very typecast in the era that the original Zombieland came out as the shy virgin type. When those two characters turn into zombies, a big battle ensues at the Hound Dog Hotel, which involves a couple more throwbacks to that original movie, like Tallahassee hitting Flagstaff with a pool cue, a reference to this part, and Tallahassee smashing Albuquerque with an Elvis guitar, with direction from Columbus on when it's safe to swing.
Don't swing, don't swing! Swing!
Back on the road again, Columbus reveals to Wichita that they've actually been listening to a CD the whole time. A record by the band Portishead, or possibly Portishead. They aren't quite clear on the pronunciation.
Portishead.
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 The robots actually seem to agree on this one. This band was likely chosen because, like most of the characters in Zombieland, Portishead is named after the town of Portishead, not far away from where the band was formed. When Tallahassee heads off on his own, he says, "I'm not much for goodbyes, so," and Columbus interrupts him and says, "Please don't say the pig thing." I guess it stuck with him all of these years.
Yeah, I'm not great at farewell, so, that'll do, pig.
That's the worst goodbye I've ever heard. And you stole it from a movie.
When Nevada saves them in the monster truck, Tallahassee brings back another one of his old lines.
Thank God for rednecks!
They end up making it to the skyscraper with the T-800s giving chase, and Tallahassee herds them off the building hanging from that hook, where a couple of the zombies are able to latch onto him. He yells back at his friends, telling them to throw something, and I seriously thought for one moment that Columbus was just gonna throw Madison. To knock the zombie off of him, but lucky for her, I guess, Little Rock still had her gun. They're able to barely reel Tallahassee back in by the curved tip of his boot, perhaps a sign that it was actually a blessing that he couldn't fit into Elvis Presley's actual shoes back at the Hound Dog Hotel. At the end, Tallahassee once again gets what he was looking for. This time, it's the Cadillac. And I know I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but I just feel the need to say, I walked out of the theater having mostly enjoyed Zombieland Double Tap, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that they are all I mean, sure, this time they were able to get away, but the zombies are evolving way faster than the humans, who are really just going to continue to run out of resources as the years go by. In fact, it probably won't be long before the odds catch up with them, unless Tallahassee's idea of going to an island actually works. I've got one more thing you probably missed. I noticed most everyone cleared out of the theater after the Bill Murray Garfield 3 interview.
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
And those of you who left would have missed out on the scene that plays at the very end of the credits, where they cut back to that interview and Bill demonstrates more hairball cough-ups, this time in various languages. So that covers Zombieland Double Tap, but before you go, remember to head to privacy.com/CZsWorld and sign up for an account. As a special treat for CZsWorld viewers, you're gonna get $5 to spend on your first privacy.com purchase for a limited time only. Yeah, free money. You can put that towards whatever streaming service you like. Go to privacy.com/CZsWorld and sign up now. And I guess I'll see you all in 10 years when we check back in on these characters again. Or if you can't wait that long, you should subscribe to CZsWorld for new horrors every week, ring that death bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Assuming we both survive.